your arm. By the way, Swiatek against, in her last 50 matches against players outside the top 30, she's 41 wins, 1 loss. Who was the one loss, chat? Outside the top 30? Who was the one player that beat her who was outside the top 30 on a clay court? Welcome, everybody. We've got doubles going on as well. Bit of a double header with doubles. We've got Eala and Gauff. We've got to figure out a name for them because every doubles combination has a name. But we're also watching Swiatek. She's in a little bit of a bind at the moment. So we've got a bit of... and these matches are a little bit overlapping. So that's why we're here. And the answer is... The answer to the question is not Penko. Funny enough. It's not Ostapenko. Because Penko was inside the top 30. I'm saying outside the top 30. Not Ostapenko. Not Krejcikova either. Think back to 2022. We went back to Poland on a clay court. Remember Poland on clay? When Swiatek went and played that? Remember that? 3 years ago? After Wimbledon? Anyways, Love 30 Collins about to break back. Yeah, it was Garcia. She was 45 in the world at the time. So that was the rise of Garcia, because Garcia was, like, that season was the one where she made the finals and won the trophy, right? Won the WTA trophy. So she was 45 in the world, Garcia, in the middle of 2022. Finished the world at like number 5. So 4 months later, she was top 10. But yeah, so that's, it was Garcia. 45 in the world at the time. So, I mean, that's still impressive on Swiatek's part. It's like, oh, she lost to Garcia, who was way underranked at the time. As Swiatek gets a great serve out wide. 30-0. So there you go. Garcia, the only player in the last 50 matches to take out Swiatek on clay. And she's the only player she's the second player in the 2020s to take out Swiatek on clay as well. Rus, back in Rome 2020, just before the French, also beat Swiatek. But Swiatek wasn't who she is now back in 2020. Before the French in 2020, nobody knew what to expect. But since Swiatek became the queen of clay in the 2020s, Garcia is the only player outside the top 30 to beat her. The commentators on the TV just gave the answer away. Oh, boo! Spoiled the fun. Yeah, spoiler alert. Jesus. Anyways, return goes in from Collins. Deuce. Boo! Commentator. Boo. By the way, shout out to Nightbot for doing a great job. Good work, Nightbot. As that goes out by Swiatek. No, sorry, goes in by Swiatek on the backhand. It's advantage Swiatek. That's right. You shoot down those people that are being rude. All right, fault from Swiatek. Second serve. Second serve. By the way, Rude just won the first set against Bublik 6-4. Backhand rally. As Collins hits a winner, and it's deuce. Also, Giron is serving for the first set against Fritz. We get back to deuce. Was waiting for the for Gauff and Eala to take the court. And we can watch her play. They're playing against the Hungarian pair. Hungarian players. Stollar. And I don't know if PANOVA is also Hungarian. No, PANOVA is from Russia. PANOVA, the most experienced player on the court. She's 36. Stollar, I think, is about mid-20s. Swiatek shanks it. And it goes out. Yeah, Swiatek's starting to get frustrated again. She's looking real worried now. We hadn't seen this in the first set from Swiatek. She kept it together. But Collins got a break point advantage, Collins. Swiatek serves a fault second serve. Second serve, Swiatek. Serve to the forehand, Collins. Great return winner. All right. Collins is back on serve. 1-all. 20 minutes for 2 games in this second set. Crows just kicked 3 quick goals. Looking good now. Wait, really? I know they were down when I last checked. Oh, you're kicking us. They were down by 8 when I last checked. Now you're up. Also, Bulldogs almost came back to win against Gold Coast. They were up by 30, Gold Coast, and they almost lost. No, I know how that felt today. Anyways, Collins back on serve, 1-all. Hercatch 1. Nice. Hopefully he stays healthy. Is it a backhand now from Collins? The backhand Swiatek. Collins down the line. Swiatek with a forehand cross. Collins gets it. Into the forehand Swiatek, who hits it inside out for a winner. Beautiful shot. 15 love. All right, Eala and Gauff are about to hit the court. So, love to see it. So JSB, I feel like some people in the chat are also picking up on what you're saying. I think you just got to let it go, mate. I feel like you're just kind of going around in circles with what you're saying. The old coach was better. Bring back the old coach. The psychology coach is not it. Wim5Z is not it. And then you just go back in circles and you just keep repeating yourself. And I get it. You're frustrated. But it's also like kind of repetitive, mate. And I think people in the chat are starting to pick up on it. That you keep saying the same things every 5 minutes. By the way, Gauff and Eala on the court, having a chat. No, I already like this combo. This is already a great combination. This is already a great combo. I'm excited. Chat, we're going to figure out a name. Coachella? Are we going to call them Coachella? I feel like Coachella might be the name. Coachella? Do we agree? Coachella? Coachella. Easy. The submissions for names have now stopped. They will be now known as Coachella. Anyways, 30-15. There's been a fault from Collins. Second serve. There's been a serve again. As the return goes in. Out by Swiatek, 40-15. Coachella sounds like a party that I want to be in. Yeah. This is going to be a fun party combo. I was going to say we could call them Coachella, but I feel like that's a little bit, that could be misinterpreted. 2-1. I feel like Coachella's easy. Coachella. Coachella. No, that's too hard to say. Coachella's easier. All right. Coella? Coella's not bad. If Swiatek loses this, it's going to be another heartbreaking loss. Yeah. 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 But also, I mean, look, is it a bad loss for Swiatek? Yes. Okay. Clay court losses are bad. But also, she's not losing to randoms. She's just not used to losing on clay to these players. You know, and I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that this is a good result. Obviously, it's not. But like, if she loses to Collins, right? She loses to Gauff. She lost to Ostapenko. If it was a hard court, if we weren't playing on clay right now, we'd all think that makes sense. It's just that because it's on clay that it doesn't make sense. Even Keys, you know, Keys taking her to 3 sets. If it was on a hard court, we probably wouldn't even mention it. We'd be like, oh yeah, well, you know, if we were playing Cincinnati, we wouldn't even think about it. If this was the US Open series, we'd be like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. But because it's on a clay court, we're all like, how did she lose to Gauff? How did she lose to Collins this way? Like, how is she losing? So that's the only, I feel like, it's not like she's, like, she demolished Cocciaretto first round. If she lost to her, that would have been, like, next level crazy, right? What the hell is that all about? But then, she's just struggling more on clay. But she's still not losing to players that she hasn't had trouble with. She's not losing to players that she's never lost a set to. She's lost to Penko. We all know that. She's lost to Gauff. She lost to Keys in Australia, so we know that she's had that problem. She's had problems with Collins, but she's just won most of them. So, I mean, look, on a clay level, it is strange. But I don't think it's catastrophic. Like, I don't think this is like, oh no, what is going on? Why is Swiatek losing to randoms? It's not really random. It's just random. It's new to see her losing on clay like this. Because last year she didn't lose. Year before that, I mean, she doesn't lose to these players on clay usually. On hard courts, Gauff's gotten her a few times. Penko obviously has. Collins has pushed Swiatek on hard courts a lot. It's the clay court that's making it weird. But it's not the opponents aren't weird that she's struggling against. Keys, Collins, Gauff, Penko. I mean, Eala, right? It's just that she doesn't usually struggle on a clay court with those players. But it still doesn't, I mean, if you didn't know what surface we're playing on, you would go, well, that makes sense that she's struggling against those players. Because she has. It's just that, not on this surface, usually. 30 love. Swiatek says an ace, 40 love. Eala and Gauff are just warming up their last couple of shots. And then we will get that party going. It's not even a bad season by any standards. We're just so used to her winning everything. And it's a surprise, crazy high standards. Yeah, exactly. She is she's a victim of her own dominance, really, right? I mean, we're so used to seeing her bagel people that when she loses a set 6-1, we're like, wait, what happened? But, she set the bar so high that it was going to be impossible to keep that up. And not think that anybody else was going to catch up, right? I mean, Gauff lost all the matches to start with, but Gauff's also just turned 20. So it's like, well, Gauff was always going to get better. Sabalenka was always going to figure it out, or was had the opportunity to figure it out with that serve if it works. All right, 2-0. She finally holds serve. First time today that she's held serve. All right. Serve again from Collins, 2-0. As we return now in the net from... Oh, sorry, it was a let by Collins, my bad. Well, I think the breeze is sort of kicked up a little bit as well. All right, Eala and Gauff are about to start. Who you got, chat? I've got... I'm going to go Gauff, Eala. I'm going to go Coachella. Let's go. Coachella is the name. And Gauff's going to serve first in this doubles match. Serve to the forehand of PANOVA, and PANOVA in the net. Coachella win the first point. It's so interesting watching Gauff play doubles because you can just tell, like, I don't think it comes out when she's playing singles as much how tall she is. As Collins serves an ace and it's 15-0. Like, we don't, like, yeah, okay, we see Gauff standing next to Sabalenka or we see Gauff standing next to Swiatek, whatever, in the singles when they're saying hi. But when she's playing doubles with someone, especially someone who's shorter than her, you can just tell how tall she is. No wonder she can hit 200k serves, right? I mean, it just shows how, she is one of the taller players on tour. And Eala is what? 5... What's Eala's height? Eala is 175, so like sort of the average. But next to Gauff, she looks tiny. And it's 30-15 as Collins tries to get back in front. Swiatek just getting very talkative. Also, backhand from Gauff goes into the backhand of Stollar. Another backhand from Gauff, but the volley from PANOVA is too good. 30-all. Gauff's like 5'8". Now, Gauff's like 5'11", I think. Pretty sure Gauff's like 180. See, this is where this is BS. Online, it says that Gauff's 175 and Eala's 175, but they're not the same height at all. There's no way they're the same height. Gauff is at least this much bigger. As we get a lovely volley from Eala, and it's 40-30. Gauff's at least, whatever this is, taller. At least 10 centimeters taller. At least. So it's either the Eala's shorter than it says, or more likely Gauff is taller than what the internet says. Because maybe they haven't. I mean, what? She's not 5'9". Gauff's not 5'9", and Eala's not 5'9". They're not the same. Gauff's got to be 5'11", and Eala might be 5'8". They're not the same height. Gauff is like this much taller. There's no chance. Anyways, you need to see Gauff stand next to Sabalenka because there's no way they're the same height. There's no way. There's no way they're the same height. I'm not. Gauff's not wearing platforms. There's no way. Same height is crazy. Gauff's listed at 5'9". That's crazy. Then Eala must be 5'5". Like, what the hell are we talking about? There's no way they're the same height. Gauff is 5'10" or 5'11". I've interviewed her and I am 5'7". Okay, yeah. Anastasia, yeah. So Gauff is taller than they say. It's probably, and look, this is probably the reason why is because the WTA website probably updated 5 years ago when Gauff was 16, right? And they just didn't update it because, and same with Andreeva, right? Andreeva's like 5'11" as well. But she's probably on the WTA website, it's probably like 5'8", because 3 years ago, they were like, oh, we were 5'8", and they just haven't updated it. All right. Nice hitting there from Coachella. Love 15. Swiatek, by the way, in big trouble. As Eala hits a lovely volley. And PANOVA goes straight to Eala again. Now, Gauff with the pass, but the drop volley winner by Stollar is very nice. 15-all. All right, back to Swiatek. 3-2 Collins in the second. Right with Andreeva. She is taller too. Yeah, Andreeva is, I watch her in the Dasher vlogs. And I know Dash is like, 5'7", 5'8"? And Andreeva just towers over her. I think, Andreeva and Gauff have to be closer to Sabalenka. Sabalenka is at least just under 6 foot, right? So they've got to be close to her. All right, love 15. Collins trying to get the break. The serve again from Swiatek. Into the forehand of Collins. Return goes into the forehand of Swiatek, who overhits it, man. That forehand is not working. She keeps just shanking it. Love 30. Who's the tallest in WTA? I think currently it's either Pliskova or Kvitova at 6'1". But I think the tallest ever player was Davenport, right? 6'3", I think. I think Lindsay Davenport is the tallest player of all time. I think. Tallest women's player of all time. Oh, yeah, Raducanu too. I forgot about it. Raducanu's 6'1", 6'2". As we forehand now into the backhand of Swiatek. Slice from Collins goes in. Swiatek backhand again. Collins on the stretch gets it, but it goes long. 15-30. Yeah, Raducanu is tall too. Haddad Maia. Yeah, anyone over 6 foot on the WTA is definitely considered tall. Sharapova was taller than Lindsay? I don't think so. I think Lindsay was taller. I mean, look, we can't take the internet for 188 for Sharapova. And Eala and Gauff get the break, by the way. 2-love. Davenport, apparently Davenport and Sharapova were nearly identical. Davenport was 1 centimeter taller. So let's just assume that, they're not 100% correct. Let's just say they're the same height. They were the same height in centimeters. We'll just go with that. Anyways, 2-love, Eala serving as the backhand return goes out by PANOVA. Venus? I don't think Venus is as tall as them, though. I know Venus is definitely up there too, right? Venus is 185, so just a little bit under that. Davenport was like 190. Sharapova was around that too. Kruger's also tall, you're right. Yeah, Kruger is also on the tall side, for sure. All right, Swiatek holds 3-all. That was a tough game. She gets out of it. Anyways, back to tennis. As we had a volley there from Gauff into the backhand of Stollar, and Stollar hits a winner. Or did it go wide? It went in. Great shot. 15-all. Lovely hitting. Now, Stollar and PANOVA are definitely more of a doubles combination. They played a lot more doubles together. Eala, probably the least experienced player on the court in doubles. Gauff obviously played a lot of doubles. We know that. She's also won a lot. She's won, a doubles Grand Slam. But Stollar, and I'll talk about Stollar and PANOVA in a second. All right, Swiatek. She is in a battle. 3-all in the second. As Collins with a serve. Collins 15-love. As Collins serves. Into the corner, Swiatek return. Goes out. 30-love. As the other struggles on serve. 30-all. 30-all. Swiatek's first serve percentage is back to where it should be. Yeah, it's slowly climbing. I mean, Collins, credit to Collins, she's taken every chance on serve she's had. Every chance on return that she's had, 5 out of 5. So she's got a break point. She broke. And it's 40-love. Collins go to 4-3 in the second. As Eala 30-40 down break points. Gauff couldn't quite react to the volley. Break point for PANOVA Stollar. Coachella for the win. Let's go. All right, 40-love. Collins serves. A fault. Second serve. Second serve. Nice volley there from Gauff there, and she gets to deuce, but they've got to play sudden death. There's a backhand return out of the backhand of Collins. Backhand of Swiatek. Again, the backhand of Collins, who hits it down the line for a winner. 4-3. Collins leads as Eala serves. Fault. Second serve. Second serve. It's a double fault. And Gauff, Eala get broken. Back on serve 2-1 in the dubs. So for those who were watching the doubles, so PANOVA is the most experienced player on the court in the doubles arena. In the other team. Gauff's the most experienced player. She's got the best doubles record. But PANOVA on the opposite team, she has been 30 in the world, which is actually currently her ranking. 10 titles in doubles, 2 quarterfinals of slams last year. So she is the more experienced. She's 36 years old as well, of the two. And then Stollar, she has got 52 in the world. That was this year, but hasn't really got any doubles results to speak of yet. So she is still sort of trying to get those doubles results, but not too much success at slams. But that is a little intro into, and Stollar's only 26, so she's still sort of in the middle of her career. Winner of this match, by the way, will take on possibly the 7th seeds, who are Danilina, and Kromacheva, the 7 seeds. And then Arani and Paolini are also in this section. So that could be Arani Paolini versus Eala and Gauff could be kind of fire. But that has to be a night session on centre court. If they don't do that, a night session on centre court, Rome, what are you doing? Like Rome Open, what are you doing? You don't get Coachella versus the Italian gold medalists. I mean, come on now. Okay. Hey, Joanne, thank you for the 15 months. Thank you for the 15 months. Appreciate it. Jams.
Can Iga come back? Or do I pull my bets now? Thinking face.
We'll find out soon. It's Collins hits a lovely lob, and it's love 15. Wowza.
What has changed in Iga's game that you see? Just last year she seemed untouchable on clay, and now when she steps on court she just seems so vulnerable. Do you think the coach change has a part?
Thank you for the donation. We talked about it before. It's the serve, and also maybe the more aggressive style that she's trying to incorporate as well. That's not working. Like she's gone away from consistency to bring in more aggression, and when you're more aggressive, you're gonna hit more errors. And Swiatek didn't hit errors. She used to be solid on the baseline, never gave anything away. The serve was always a problem with the serve at times, but it was attackable. But she just kind of she's trying to hit bigger serves so that the serve doesn't get attacked. But she's also looks like she's trying to be more aggressive on the ground strokes and not set the points up like she used to. Again, maybe out of fear of being attacked. She's trying to attack before Collins attacks, for example, right? But yeah, it's just a lot of a lot of errors, and the serve isn't getting any better. So it's yeah. As that backhand goes in the net from Collins, and it's 40-15 Swiatek. And look, yeah, the coaching change, new coach, new strategy, right? And the strategy doesn't seem to be working at the moment. But I think more things I think that the ban, and not so much maybe the month off, but more the reaction to the ban that she, online that she must have read. I think that, taking what people were saying about her being a cheat and stuff and her trying to prove her innocence, most of us don't look at that and go, oh, we can see that it was a clear mistake. We understand that, it wasn't her fault. But it's those, that small percentage of people that are really loud, even though they're really small, but they're really loud. And I think those are the people that she might have heard more of. Because, most of us in the chat here, we don't think Swiatek's a cheat. I don't think, most of us here don't think Swiatek benefited from melatonin tablets, right? We don't think any of that. But she got banned, and that, and maybe that was a bit unfair. Maybe some of the things it was too harsh. But I think she was probably just reading the wrong people's, trying to prove herself to them, and maybe that has dented her confidence on the court as well. So, yeah. And, and at that time when that stuff happened, she was also changing coaches. So it was like there's a lot of things going on at the same time there. And you got to think that's going to take a toll on her, But again, she played so well in Australia. Like the Australian Open, she nearly made the final. It's only been the clay season and maybe Indian Wells, Miami, where we've kind of gone, what's going on? January was great. Yeah, she lost to Gauff. Yeah, she lost to Keys, but she made the final with Poland, and her catch wasn't helping too much, unfortunately, because he was a little bit, he was between coaches and he was injured, at times, or he was not being able to help as much, and then she was 1 point away from the Australian Open final, which she'd never been that close to playing well, playing there in Melbourne, right? She made a semi-final before, but she wasn't that close. She got beaten by Collins easily that time. But then after that, that's, she lost Doha for the first time in forever. That was a shock. Andreeva did get better, though. I mean, Andreeva got the better of her a few times. Penko was in the way. I mean, the Eala loss was kind of random, but then Eala beat everybody that week almost, So again, I don't know if it's Swiatek has dropped her level, but I do also think that a lot of players have lifted. Gauff's gotten better, obviously, right? We've seen that. Obviously, Andreeva's gotten better, right? Not only against Swiatek, but against everybody. She was beating everybody else. She was beating Sabalenka too, right? I think there's just more threats now for Swiatek. When before, she never lost to Gauff. Her and Sabalenka would have tough matches. It would be 1 versus 2. She could handle Pegula most of the time. Penko is up and down, that she didn't have to play her every week, luckily. So I just think there's just more threats now. And yeah, she's dropped her level because she's felt those threats are going to ruin her game, and she's got to fix her game to counteract those threats. But I don't know. Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully it won't be forever. I mean, Swiatek's still got it. It's not like Swiatek's done. She's never going to come back and win anything. It's just that she's struggling to players that we don't expect it. Or that we haven't, especially on clay, that we haven't expected on clay. Like Keys on clay, who would have thought, right? Gauff winning it easily on clay against Swiatek 2 years ago, or even 12 months ago, nobody would have thought that. Because the scoreline was the opposite, right? Anyways, 4-0. As Colin serves, a let. Also, Eala and Gauff are up 3-2. As we're serving now from Collins into the back of Swiatek. Return goes into the back of Collins. Swiatek forehand into the forehand of Collins. Collins hits it long, and it's love 15. Love 15. Yeah, her grandpa passed away last week as well. Yeah, so we could maybe put that down to like last week. Her results maybe were under duress, for sure. All right, love 15. Collins with a fault second serve. Also, it's 15-40. Chance for Eala and Gauff to break again in this first set in the dubs. As the backhand of Swiatek, inside out to the forehand of Collins. Swiatek backhand to the backhand of Collins. Collins into that Swiatek forehand as Collins forehand cross. Swiatek gets it. Collins forehand down the line. Swiatek gets it with a backhand slice. Collins with the forehand again as a winner. 15-0. Some people do end up having a better draw than when the draw was first made. True. These tournament draws are brutal, yeah. Like, I mean, hindsight's a great thing because we can look now and go, wow, this is a crazy... Swiatek's having a real tough time. But even if Swiatek wins this match, she might still have to play Svitolina, which is a nightmare if you know what Svitolina's been up to. And then, I mean, Osaka has a chance to make the quarterfinals. Osaka versus Swiatek, if we get that, would be very interesting. By the way, Eala and Gauff have broken and they're up 4-2. As Collins gets to 30-15. If Swiatek does lose this match, though, it's going to be Svitolina possibly making a semi. Bottom half of the draw is wide open. All right. 30-15. Yeah. 30-15. As Collins serves again. Into the forehand Swiatek. Backhand from Collins. The backhand Swiatek. As Collins down the line. Swiatek with a forehand cross. Collins gets on the stretch, but it's wide. 30-0. 30-0. Swiatek might Might be able to steal this. It's funny how when Swiatek was winning her matches, no one mentioned the passing of her grandpa until she started losing. But I didn't know that happened until the start of this week. So I'm not saying that the reason she's losing today is because of that, but I didn't know last week that that's what happened. 30-all. As it is back in our return to the forehand of Collins. Forehand of Swiatek. Again, the forehand of Collins. Swiatek backhand cross. Collins gets it. Into the backhand of Swiatek. Collins backhand again. Is wide. And it's 30-40. By the way, 5-2 for Coachella. Had I have known like the start of last week that she had, or the start of Madrid, we would have praised her for winning those matches that she did easily. She only won one match easily, though. It was the Noskova match was the only easy match for her. She did struggle against Eala. She struggled against Schneider. Obviously, Keys as well and Gauff. But then again, if you think Eala, Noskova, Keys, Gauff, they're all very tough opponents. Even if she didn't have to deal with going to a funeral at the start of the week. You know? So you take that out of it, it's still a very tough draw. You know? All right, we get to deuce. Collins survives. Collins hanging on here. Trying to avoid a third set. She serves a fault. Second serve. Serve Collins. Into the back of Swiatek. Forehand from Collins. Again, the forehand of Swiatek is Collins on the stretch. Can't get it. All right, Swiatek with another break point to take the break and serve for the second. By the way, Stollar serving to stay in the set for her team against Coachella. All right, break point. Swiatek. As Collins serves the back of Swiatek. Return goes in the back of Collins. Swiatek forehand down the line in the net. And we get back to deuce. Back to deuce. As Gauff returns into the volley of PANOVA, but Gauff gets it back. Stollar goes again into the back of Gauff and Gauff in the net. 15-all. There's Collins with an ace. Advantage, Collins. Advantage, Collins. 1:25 on the clock. It's been a long. If this is 6-1, 6-4, it's been a long straight sets. As the backhand return goes back into Collins, Swiatek's there with a forehand. Into the forehand of Collins. Swiatek forehand inside out. Collins gets there with a slice. Swiatek on the attack. Puts it away. And we get back to deuce. This feels like a very crucial game for this match. We get back to deuce. Lovely hitting by Swiatek. As Collins serves again. Where am I watching doubles? I'm watching on WTA TV. As Collins serves that wide, Swiatek chips it back, but it goes out, and it's advantage Collins. Advantage Collins, also 30-all for the doubles as Stollar hits an ace down the tee. 40-30. All right, advantage Collins to stay in front. First serve is a fault. Second serve. Second serve is a let. Also, Gauff's going to serve out for this first set for the doubles here. Serving the backhand of Swiatek. Return the net. All right, Collins holds. That was a big game. 5-4. Collins leads. Swiatek's going to serve to stay in the match. Why are you not watching Paolini once? Because they're not playing at the moment. They're playing later. All right, 5-4. Collins leads. All right. There's Gauff. Hits a backhand inside out into the forehand of PANOVA. Gauff forehand again. The forehand of PANOVA is Gauff. Goes the volley of Stollar. Gauff picks it up with a forehand, though, and then the backhand from PANOVA. It's Gauff hanging in this rally. Taking both players on. Eala hasn't hit the ball yet, and then Gauff wins the point. 15-love.
Unbelievable.
That was 2-on-1. Eala was just trying to get out of the way. Nice work from Coco. 15-love. Not much Eala could do. I mean, she was just trying to not get hit by the ball. Gauff too good. 15-love. As Coco serves again. Fault. Second serve. Second serve. Into the forehand of Stollar. Forehand from Gauff into the backhand of Stollar. Volley from Eala is good, but Stollar's there with a volley again from Eala. And Stollar missed again. An air swing. 30-love. Eala gets a volley winner to her name. All right, 30-love. Love. As Gauff serves again. By the way, DJ Crow's got the win. Jesus, mate, you hung on there. That was risky. That was close, mate. Good win by the Crows. Anyway, it's double fault for Gauff. As the return goes out by Collins, Swiatek serving to stay in the match. 15-love. Love. As we just serve now from Swiatek as a fault. Second serve. All right, 15-love. Swiatek serves again. By the way, set point for Coachella. And a backhand return from Collins. The backhand of Swiatek. Forehand from Collins to the backhand of Swiatek. Collins on the stretch for the slice. Swiatek forehand cross. Collins gets it. Into the forehand of Swiatek down the line of the backhand of Collins. The backhand of Swiatek, who hits it wide. And it's 15-0. And Swiatek yells at herself again. Slaps herself in the leg. As Gauff hits a backhand into the backhand of Stollar. And Stollar hits a winner down the line. No. Yes. Maybe. Yes. It was a winner. Okay. Okay, still set point though, because remember, deuce is sudden death. There's a bit of serve into the forehand of Stollar. Return goes back into Gauff. Stollar backhand, and the Eala volley is a winner. The Eala wins the point and the set for her team. 6-3. Coachella take the first. Okay, 15-0. Swiatek trying to stay in this match. Swiatek says a fault. Second serve. Second serve. Yeah, chat, there's no shot that Eala and Gauff are the same height. Gauff is much... Like, it's not even the... I don't think it's... Gauff is much... Well, Gauff looks much taller than she does on TV. especially when she's sitting next to somebody who's not as tall. But Eala is not the same height as Gauff. Eala is way smaller. Like, Eala's more of like, I mean, she's way more like Pegula. And it's 15-30. Swiatek in trouble as Collins returns it, but it's long. 30 all. 30 all. $30 all. Swiatek serves again. She double faults. Match point for Danielle Collins. To take a huge win on clay against the best clay quarter of the 2020s. And only her second win against Swiatek, which is kind of interesting. Serve is a fault. Oh, no. Second serve. Second serve. Serve in the back of the Collins. Return goes back into Swiatek. Collins, backhand, down the line. Swiatek gets with the forehand cross. Collins gets it. Into the forehand Swiatek. Now Collins on the stretch with a slice. Swiatek lets it bounce. Hits a backhand. And it's a winner. Swiatek survives. Woo. Deuce. We get the deuce. Man. Swiatek, I mean, she's been making a lot of errors on the ground strokes. Okay. We get the deuce. Still not out of danger, though. Serve. Is a let. Swiatek serves again. Serve to the forehand of Collins. Return goes into the forehand of Swiatek. Down the line of the backhand of Collins. The Swiatek backhand. Into the backhand of Collins on the stretch. Swiatek lets it bounce. And then hits a backhand straight to Collins, who puts up a lob. And then Swiatek with a smash put away. Ooh, that was sketchy. Anyways, advantage Swiatek to hang on. Man, that backhand, I mean, that smash, I mean, that could have easily gone in the net. I don't think she hit that clean. That could have easily gone straight into the ground. All right, advantage Swiatek. Yeah, look, we're not going to disrespect players. If you don't like Collins, keep it to yourself. As that goes out on the return, and Swiatek 5-all. She saves the match point. All right, back to Collins. Still not out of trouble. 5-5. 1 hour played in the second set, by the way. Swiatek, by the way, I think is just wiping some of the clay off her face. She's got some clay in her eyes. All right, Collins serving. Collins with the serve. Match point saved by Swiatek, if you're just joining us. Also, the doubles match going on right now. It's Eala 6-3 first set with Gauff, of course. The superstar doubles combo. As we're back in the net by Swiatek. 15 love. 15 love. All right, 15 love. As Collins serves again. As a fault from, a return in the net from Swiatek. 30 love. Bublik and Ruda 1 set all. Damn. And Fokina's down 4-love. Schneider won, though. So that's cool. And Fritz lost the first in a tiebreak. That's crazy. Anyways, back in Collins is a winner. It's 40-love. Swiatek's going to have to play a tiebreak if she's going to keep her hopes alive. By the way, if you're not watching the doubles, Gauff and Eala are just having fun. Like, they're winning, which helps, but like the way every time they miss a point, they're like, damn. But they're just having fun. It's so fun to watch players just having fun on court. That's why it's fun to watch Alcaraz. And it's 40-love Collins. As she tries to stay in front and force Swiatek to serve to stay in the match again. As Collins hits a double fault. 40-15. All right, 40-15. As Collins serves again. And it's a fault. Second serve. Second serve. The back end of Swiatek. Collins wins the point and shouts at her coaches. All right, 6-5. Swiatek's going to have to serve to stay in this match again and play a tiebreak too. The energy between the doubles and Swiatek Collins is night and day. Swiatek Collins is tense. And the doubles is fun. 40-30, by the way, as that goes out in the volley of PANOVA. And it's going to be break point for Coachella to break first in the doubles. In the second set of the doubles. And it's going to be Gauff returning serve on this break point. As Gauff, did they win the point? What happened? I looked down for 2 seconds and then they won the point. What happened? Did they break? No. Good serving from Paova Stollar and it's 1-love. Okay. Swiatek serving to stay in the match again. All right. 6-5 Collins. She just had a match point in the last game. 6-5. Okay, Swiatek to serve. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Swiatek serves. Into the back end of Collins. Return goes forward to Swiatek. Collins gets the free point. Swiatek goes wide. Love 15. Love 15. Swiatek serves again. Another fault, second serve. Second serve. Into the back end of Collins. Return is good to the back of Swiatek. Collins. Cross-court backhand winner. Love 30. Uh-oh. Love 30. Swiatek in trouble again on serve. She's faced so many break points too. Her serve has gotten better in the second set, but still hasn't been untouchable. So they've been broken once in this set though. I love 30. Collins 2 points away. Swiatek serves the backhand. Collins' return is in. And then Swiatek's backhand is out. Love 40. 1-1, by the way. Coachella hold. 3 match points in a row. Love 40. Swiatek's going to have to produce a miracle here. Love 40. Swiatek serves. Match points, Collins again. Swiatek with a serve. Down the tee, the forehand to Collins. Return goes back to Swiatek. Collins. Backhand again to the back of Swiatek. As Collins hits it long. Wow, Swiatek hit the baseline on one of those shots. Hangs on. 15-40. It looked like it was out, but Collins hit it out. Swiatek hit the baseline. She's still down match points, sorry. 15-40. Swiatek serves again. A fault. Second serve. Second serve. Second serve is into the backhand of Collins. Good return. Swiatek gets it. As Collins backhand cross court. Swiatek hanging on. As Collins at the backhand of the stretch now. Swiatek back in control. Backhand goes wide though. And Collins beats Swiatek on clay. And Collins smiles. Big smile. The handshake is exactly what you would expect. Very professional. All right. Collins wins. 7-5 in the second set. But, I mean, I don't know, chat. I mean, look, should we be worried about Swiatek? Of course, because she's been untouchable on clay for years. But has she ever not... I mean, there's been times where she's beaten Collins easily, but Collins has always been a threat. And you look at who she's lost to in the last 3 tournaments, right? She's lost to Penko, Gauff, Collins. And like I said earlier, if that was on a hard court, we wouldn't speak of it. We'd be like, oh yeah, she's just losing to players that she struggles against. It's because it's on clay, that's what makes it concerning, because she doesn't lose to these players on clay. At least she doesn't lose to Gauff and Collins on clay. But she does lose to them. She has lost to them, right? So it's hard to know whether... I mean, she's not as playing as well as she was last year, Swiatek. We know that on clay. She was unbeatable on clay last year, pretty much. I feel like if she... I mean, it might just come down to the draw at the French. Because if she gets a good draw, we know she can beat players that she can beat, right? She beat Cocciaretto easily this week. She even beat Noskova easily in Madrid. If she gets players that she knows that don't trouble her, or that she has never worried about before, then she might be able to have a run at the French and maybe win it again. But if she gets a Collins in a third round, or a Penko, even if she gets like Keys in a semi or a quarter, or Gauff in a semi, that's going to be a problem. So it's hard to know. It's like, yeah, okay, it's alarming for Swiatek. Yeah, this is not great. But is she losing to players that she's never lost to? No. She's losing to players that always give her trouble. Or she's losing sets to players that would trouble her, like Keys, right? So I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. I think it comes down to the draw. If Swiatek gets a bad draw, it's going to be real tough. She's not going to, she's not as dominant on clay as she was 12 months ago. But if she gets a decent draw and she avoids these players, I don't know if we should be worried about Swiatek if she gets a decent draw. But usually when Swiatek comes to the clay, it doesn't matter what draw she gets, it's clay, right? So the first French Open for a while, the draw is important for Iga Swiatek. And she's going to be number 4, right? She's going into Roland Garros as the 4th seed, which is insane. And that's only if Paolini doesn't win the tournament. If Paolini wins the tournament, she'll be number 5 seed, which is, you don't want to be number 5. If you're number 5 seed, yuck. That's the worst seed, because then you have to play Sabalenka, Gauff, or Pegula potentially in a quarterfinal. So you don't want to be number 5. So she doesn't. She'll be rooting for Jabeur today, but I mean, she's number 4 in the world for the first time since I want to say start of 2022. First time out of the top 2 since then, I think, or at least number 4. She hasn't. I think Gauff might have taken number 2 and then gone backwards, but yeah, she is number 4 in the world and number 4 seed at the French. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, great for Collins. I mean, Collins has not really been super, she hasn't been great this year compared to last year, but that's a great win. That's probably her best win. At least her best win against Swiatek by a mile. 32 winners, 13 errors from Collins. We're talking about how Swiatek wasn't playing well. Collins was not giving out free points. She was playing great. 32 winners, 13 errors is a massive. It was a great match. Swiatek hit a hell of a lot of errors. Her serve in the first set, Swiatek's serve is not working. It is a problem. But Collins was amazing, so we've got to credit her as well because Collins played very, very well. Did not give anything away. There was no charity. And sometimes Collins does give charity. We know that Collins sometimes does, is known to sometimes cause or at least produce errors, but not today. Today she was rock solid and took over. All right. Well, that's the start of the day, and we're going to keep watching the doubles. So if you want to keep watching the doubles, come on over. Eala and Gauff are up a set and a break. We also have Sinner coming up in about 3.5 hours. So if you're not coming back for this doubles match, then come back for that later. But great win by Collins, and Iga Swiatek is going to the French Open without a clay court title. In fact, she's gone to the French Open without a title since last year's French Open, which is the first time in a long time. And Collins wins 6-1, 7-5. She just got her best win on clay. I'll see you guys soon. If you're not coming back for the doubles, we'll see you in the Sinner match. All right. Well, we'll start the day with an upset. There we go. That's how you start the day, with an upset. All right. Man. Happy for Danielle. Yeah. Great win for her. Let me just get the scoreboard updated so we know what we're watching. All right. So Gauff is up a set and a break. Eala and Gauff are up a set and a break, I should say. And 40-15 to try and extend the lead. Sorry, 40-30. They've been doing well, Gauff and Eala. It's been so far it's been a successful combination. As we return now into the forehand of Eala. Forehand from Stollar. As Eala hits a backhand lob. It's going to go into the forehand of Stollar. Gauff hits a forehand cross-court winner. It was a little bit shanky, but it went in. 3-1. Coachella. 3-1. All right. Jams.
Pulled half my bets. Iga can still win this.
Well, safeguard the bet. Wowza.
I can't help but feel sad for Iga. This is a win she would have wanted, and she had so many points to defend. Congrats to Collins, but Iga just seems so out of sorts lately on a surface she loves.
Yeah, it's a tough loss. But thank you for the donation. Also, Joanne, thank you for the 15 months. Appreciate that. All right, 3-1 as Stollar serves. 3-1 for Coachella in the second. Swiatek's number 4 in the world, which is the first time in a long time that has been the case. All right. As Gauff looks to return serve. Coco number 2, Pegula number 3. So I guess the battle for number 2 seed is on. Because Gauff, it's so much fun because Gauff and Pegula are literally like neck and neck. There's only 15 points, 20 points between them, 25 points between them. So Gauff, Pegula are battling for number 2. And Paolini, if she wins the tournament, will be number 4. So Swiatek will be number 4 unless Paolini wins the whole thing. But Gauff and Pegula are going at it for that number 2 spot. And it's a big deal because it's the difference between playing Sabalenka in a semi and Sabalenka in a final. And I mean, Sabalenka is the player you want to avoid, right? Or if you rather play Swiatek, if you don't want to play Swiatek, being number 3 might be good. But, I feel like, right now, Gauff would rather play Swiatek because she just beat her. And Pegula would probably rather play Swiatek because Swiatek, compared to Sabalenka, the confidence is totally different. So being number 2 is a huge deal. Also, Pegula's it would be a career high ranking if she gets to number 2. So she'll be number 2 at the French, best ranking she's ever had, But it's between those two. They're battling it out. And I think they're playing tomorrow. I would love it if they played against each other in the semis or something, right? That would be so much fun. If it was Pegula versus Gauff, and it won't be because they're in the opposite sides of the draw, but imagine the final was Pegula, Gauff, winner gets to number 2. Pegula's playing today against Mertens. She's playing tonight. So if Pegula wins tonight, she's number 2. If Gauff beats Lynette tomorrow, she's number 2. And they go day by day, every day, we might get a new number 2 in the live rankings. Every day it changes until one of them lose. All right, 30-all. As that goes to the net from PANOVA, and it's 30-40. Gauff and Eala a chance to break. Chance to get this break. As we return now, and the smash in the net by PANOVA. All right, 4-1. Coachella get the double break in this doubles. All right. Yeah, I haven't even been looking at what's going on. Let me check what's going on. Dutchy.
Highcombe fell asleep in the footy. How was it?
It was terrible, but we won. So it seems to be the story of this season. We won, but it was ugly. Thank you for the donation. So Fokina is getting whooped. By the way, De Jong beat Fonseca last week in a challenger. So if you're wondering who the hell is Fokina losing to, he's losing to a guy that beat Fonseca. And if you don't know who Fonseca is, you should, because I'll be talking about him every day. Fritz, by the way, he's in a tiebreak against Giron second set. Fritz has not been doing anything on clay. Like Taylor Fritz on clay has not been a thing this year. Not that he can't be a clay court guy, but not this year. And Ruud Bublik 2-all third set. Also, Svitolina just started. She's taking on Baptiste. All right. So, chat, basically, here's the tennis math. If you just hear me out. So, if De Jong beats Fokina and Sinner beats Navone, then De Jong will take on Sinner. And if De Jong beats Sinner, then Fonseca can beat Sinner. Because De Jong beat Fonseca, right? And then De Jong beats Sinner as well. It means that Fonseca, maybe he could beat Sinner. Because De Jong's like goated or something. Right? Does that make sense? Is that, yep. One in the chat if you agree. Right? So right? Anyways, Gauff serving. 15 love. She serves a fault second serve. It's not how it works. I think that's exactly how it works. As the return goes in from Stollar to the back of Gauff, back into Stollar. And Eala volleys it away. I think it was in. 30 love. 30 love. Good volley. 30 love. It's going to be a De Jong versus Marijan final. And then all the Fonseca haters are going to be like, wait, maybe he just had a really tough draw. 30 love. 30 love. As we return now from PANOVA, and then PANOVA in the net. 40 love. $40 love. To go to 5-1 here in the second. All right, 40 love as Coachella get to 5-1 in this second set. Okay. 5-1. Eala Gauff versus more experienced doubles team, but yeah. Let me have a look. So I want to see if there's anything else on. Chad, is there any other matches on today? I don't even know. Is there any tennis? Is this the last match of the day? Love 15. Because we've got Sinner coming up in 3.5 hours, and I don't really want to do nothing. I mean, look, I could go down to the pub and have a beer, but I really don't want to do that alone, and I don't want to stream it. So, I don't know what to do for 3 hours. But I'll have a look. So Fritz Giron is playing. Then we've got Mensik and then Osaka, but that's a little bit late. So I don't think we can watch Osaka, unfortunately, because her match might clash with Sinner. I don't want anything to clash with Sinner. We could watch Paolini versus Ons. I mean, yeah, if this match is over now, we could watch that. Play Monopoly. That's what, alone? That sounds boring as hell. We could watch Ons versus Jabeur. Ons versus Paolini. They're just about to start, so maybe watch them. We'll do that one to fill in the time, because that will probably fill in at least 2 hours. And that's a fun matchup. That'll be a fun match. At least I think it'll be fun. So maybe we'll do that. Anyways, love 40. Match points! Coachella. As we serve now the back end of Gauff. Gauff hits a winner down the line. There it is. Coachella win! Straight sets. That was very impressive. Coachella get the win. GG's. And they're into the second round. They might play a seed. We're going to probably watch them in a couple of days. Now that Swiatek's out of the tournament, we've got to do something. All right. Gauff and Eala take the win. And they high five. Again, Eala is tiny. Like, she's not 6'6", whatever. What did I say? 6'4", 5'7". All right. So yeah, we'll watch. We might as well watch Jabeur versus Paolini, because it's about to start now. Okay, Giron 2 match points. I know. 2 points from the match. Yeah, root up a break in the third, by the way. All right, I'm going to send you over the next one. We will watch Jabeur versus Paolini while we wait 3.5 hours for Sinner. So if you want to jump on over, and you can talk amongst yourselves for a second while I sort out the stream. But good win. Good win by Coachella. They are into the second round. And they will be playing against possibly the number 7 seeds. So that's fun. But we'll watch Jabeur taking on Paolini. They're about to get started. Let's warm up the serves. And then we can keep this show rolling. But nice win. Good win by Coachella. It's 6-3, 6-1. They're into the second round. Jabeur Paolini coming up next.